Well, March is recognized across the country as Brain Injury Awareness Month. This year alone, it's estimated that over 2.8 million Americans will have some form of brain injury. That encompasses a bunch of injuries that are often misdiagnosed, misunderstood, and education and research on them is underfunded. Well, joining me right now in Studio 61, I'm happy to have Victor Darr. He's a senior brain injury specialist with the Brain Injury Alliance of Connecticut, here to share some resources that might benefit you someday. A pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
I'm glad to have you here. I don't believe, at least when I've been here in Studio 61, we haven't had you and your organization on the show. So why don't you start just by telling people what you guys are all about and what your main missions are here.
Right. So the number one thing we do is provide information and awareness. People can call us for help. So we have a free helpline. So if you're a survivor or if you're a professional or you're a family member and you're looking for support, you can call us. We also offer a service called Navigator. So if you're a person with an injury, with a brain injury, you can come and ask us for help. We can do that. We provide education and outreach. We provide prevention awareness about how to prevent brain injuries, and generally are trying to raise the tide of awareness and understanding in Connecticut.
And why don't we also talk about what types of brain injuries that people most often need help with?
Right. So an acquired brain injury is any brain injury that's not congenital, hereditary, degenerative, or caused by birth.
Okay.
A good example would be a stroke. That's
yes.
a kind of a common way to get a brain injury. Or it can be traumatic. So it can be an external force, maybe an accident. Number one cause of traumatic brain injury is falls. People aren't always aware of that. But whatever it is, it can be very impactful to your life.
Yeah, in a number of different ways.
Right.
And of course, it's tough to figure out exactly how it can impact people at sometimes too. That makes it harder. What do you think would be some things that people might be surprised to know about different types of brain injuries?
One, that you don't have to hit your head to get a brain injury. So, and a concussion is a brain injury.
Yes.
So even if I hit my body, it causes the brain to move. This can cause a lot of different issues. And the best thing to do, if you have a brain injury, is to get help. If you don't know where to go to help, you call us, and we can point you the right way.
Yes. All right. Now let's talk about the helpline that you have, exactly how it works, how people can get in touch, and sort of if they're first coming to you for help. I like to say, can you detail out what those first 3 steps are in the process, what those first few days are like? So
the first step is having the courage to reach out for help. I can tell you that personally, it's hard for me when I need help to reach out for it. So it's understanding that it's okay to reach out for help. The next thing that we're doing with a caller is just listening. Whatever their experience is unique to them, and we take great care and pride in trying to hear and understand what they have going on in their life, and then we do our best to point them in the right direction, make sure they get the help that they need. Right.
Have you found that sometimes people have trouble grasping their own brain injuries? I imagine sometimes people feel like they don't look at it the same way as if you had injured a knee. They look at it as an affront to themselves,
a
fundamental level.
And there's a lot of different reasons why. So if my cognitive abilities are impacted, my ability to understand how it may impact me may be altered.
Yeah.
I also may have denial. I may have a hard time accepting that I have a brain injury or wanting to understand that. And it's a process of grief that people go through. And so there's a lot of different reasons why reaching out for help might be really difficult. But you don't even have to be the survivor to reach out for help. You can be a family member, you can be a professional, you could be an employer. You might have someone at work who you can see needs help, and you just don't know who to reach out to. And so that's what we can do for you. Yeah.
I imagine you've got some good success stories too. Not that you necessarily want to give away names, but you've done a lot of good things.
Yeah, well, there was a caller a couple years ago who was a wife of someone who suffered a stroke, and she was a good example of someone who just supporting her husband was extremely difficult, but also she was realizing she needed support, and she was one of those people who don't know how to reach out for help. So she reached out to us. We pointed a way to support groups, because that's one of the main things that we do, is offer support groups. not only was she able to get support, but she then went on to create her own support group.
Oh,
And so
that's
she
great.
created a support group for just for spouses and partners, because that relationship can be really difficult.
I can imagine. That is great.
It can be, yeah.
That is
life-altering.
wonderful. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We see the phone number right there, 860-219-0291. Real quick, is there any other way people can get in touch with you, or is that the preferred method?
That's the easiest way. Our website is filled with lots of good information, so if they go to our website, they can see everything they need.
Okay, and we'll make sure we get that link up on fox61.com. Victor, thank you so much
Thanks.
for taking the time to join us.
Great.
We do appreciate it. Definitely information a lot of people could use that they might not know Erica is there.